Flames tore through my Chicago home, a merciless beast swallowing everything I'd built. I gripped Lily and Chloe, my 6-year-old twins, their cries slicing through the midnight smoke as we fled, barefoot, into the biting cold. The fire's roar drowned out hope, but I dragged them to safety, collapsing on the lawn as sirens wailed. This wasn't chance, it was vengeance. Tied to a past I thought I'd escaped. 7 years ago, David, my husband, abandoned me with divorce papers and 2 newborns, vanishing without a trace. Now, his ghost resurfaced through Jessica Reed, his lover, whose cruelty sparked this blaze. My girls hung to me, their tear-soaked faces glowing in the firelight, and I vowed to shield them, no matter the cost. This wasn't just survival, it was a fight for our lives, a war against a woman who'd burn everything to claim what wasn't hers. I'd face her, fueled by a mother's rage, ready to turn her own fire against her. I'm Emily Carter, 34, an architect who crafts Chicago's skyline with precision and grit. My life is lines and angles, each blueprint a testament to my refusal to break. But beneath my strength lies a wound that festers. David's betrayal 7 years ago, when I birthed Lily and Chloe alone in a stark hospital room. His divorce papers my only company. I raised my twins single-handedly, their laughter my lifeline, their questions about their father a silent sting. I'm a mother first, fierce, unyielding. But doubt shadows me. Did I miss the signs of this storm? My career soars. I design homes for others while mine lies in ashes. The fire was no accident. Jessica Reed, David's lover, orchestrated it. Her name unknown until a lawyer's call shattered my peace. She's after my girls, my life, and David's hidden legacy. I'm no victim, but this fight's weight tests me. Can I protect my daughters from a past that claws back? Or will Jessica's venom undo everything I've built? My heart races, but I stand firm, ready to fight for the family I forged alone. My scar's proof of battles I've already won. Each night, I trace the scar on my wrist, a jagged reminder of the night David left. I'd clutched a shattered glass, cleaning up his absence. The cut deeper than his cold farewell. That moment lingers, a symbol of trust broken. I was 27, alone with 2 cribs, the divorce papers a cruel weight on my table. I didn't weep. I couldn't. Instead, I poured my soul into Lily and Chloe, teaching them to dream, to draw, to find joy despite their father's void. Now, with our home charred, that scar burns again as Jessica's threats echo David's betrayal. She claims my girls, calls me unfit, her lies twisting the knife he left. I keep a photo from their first birthday. Their tiny hands and cake, a moment I fought for alone. It survived the fire, tucked in my purse, my shield against despair. It proves I built something unbreakable, even as Jessica's shadow looms, threatening to steal it. I rub that scar, the pain raw, but it fuels me. I won't let her take my daughters or the life I've carved from ruin. This fight is mine, and I'll face it with every ounce of strength I've earned. Jessica's fire lit the fuse, but David's secrets were about to unravel her lies, pulling me into a battle I never chose. The world turned its back after the fire gutted our Chicago home. In the cramped shelter, whispers followed us, neighbors' pity laced with blame. How does a mother lose everything? One muttered. Their words a blade in my chest. Lily and Chloe, my 6-year-old twins, huddled close, their eyes searching for answers I didn't have. Why can't we go home, Mommy? Chloe asked, her voice small. My throat tightened. I promised we'd rebuild, but doubt gnawed at me. At work, my boss's sympathy came with a warning. Clients questioned my focus, my projects teetering. Chicago, the city I'd shaped with my designs, now judged me unfit, an outcast in its glittering skyline. Friends sent food but avoided my gaze, as if our loss was contagious. Jessica Reed's shadow loomed larger. Her calls began, her voice syrupy yet sharp, claiming she'd rescue my girls. The betrayal wasn't just hers, it was society's. Echoing David's abandonment 7 years ago. Each stare, each whisper, deepened my isolation, pushing me to the edge. I felt like a stranger in my own life. My girls' trust the only thread keeping me from unraveling. Jessica struck with a letter, slid under our shelter door, accusing me of endangering my girls. She called the fire proof of my failure, her words dripping with crocodile tears. A social worker read it, her eyes narrowing, suspicion replacing kindness. It was a calculated betrayal, mirroring David's cold divorce papers, branding me inadequate. My hand shook as I read her lies, claiming I was unstable, unfit. She'd filed for custody, citing David's wishes, her audacity a punch to my gut. I called Stephen Grant, the lawyer handling David's estate, his voice heavy with news. Jessica had forged a birth certificate, naming David as her son's father. The betrayal wasn't just personal, it was a meticulously woven trap, targeting my family. I sat in the shelter's dim light, the letter crumpled in my fist, fury rising. Jessica wasn't just stealing my peace. She was weaponizing my motherhood against me. The world's judgment stung, but her calculated deceit cut deeper, reviving the pain of David's departure, leaving me to fight a war I didn't start. I refused to drown. At night, while Lily and Chloe slept, I scoured public records on my phone, my architect's precision hunting Jessica's past. I found her name linked to aliases, lawsuits, and vanished funds, a con artist's trail. It wasn't proof, but it was a spark. I reached out to a former colleague, a data whiz, who pulled complaints against Jessica, all mysteriously dropped. I saved every threatening voicemail, her voice chillingly calm, vowing to take it all. My girls sensed my tension, their drawings of our lost home breaking my heart. I taught them to sketch new houses, promising we'd build again. It was my first rebellion, not just against Jessica, but against the despair threatening to swallow me. I shared my findings with Stephen, cautiously, needing more before striking. Each step was small, deliberate, like drafting a blueprint. I wasn't ready for open war, but I was done cowering, my resolve hardening with every clue I uncovered, ready to unravel her lies. Jessica's web of deceit was tightening, but I'd found the first loose thread, and pulling it would lead me straight to her truth. A week after the fire, a note appeared under our shelter door. "You can't hide, Emily." No name. But Jessica Reed's malice was unmistakable. My pulse spiked, fear flooding my veins like ice. She knew where we were. That night, Chloe woke sobbing, her dreams haunted by flames, and I held her, my own terror clawing at me. The shelter's flimsy walls offered no shield. I checked the locks thrice, my mind replaying the blaze. Had Jessica stood in the shadows, watching us burn? My wrist scar throbbed, echoing David's old betrayal, now reborn in her pursuit. A neighbor's casual remark about a woman lingering near the shelter sent shivers through me. Was it her? My fear wasn't just for myself. It was for Lily and Chloe, their small hands trusting me to keep them safe. Jessica's reach felt endless, her threats a tightening vice. I barely slept, haunted by visions of her stealing my girls. The note lay on my table, a taunt I couldn't ignore. I felt exposed, a target in a city I'd once shaped. My strength tested by a predator who thrived on my dread. Every creak in the shelter, every stranger's glance, amplified the panic I fought to bury, knowing I had to protect my daughters from a danger I couldn't yet name. Jessica ambushed me at a park where I'd taken Lily and Chloe to escape the shelter's gloom. She emerged, sleek and cold, her smile a sharpened edge. "You're not fit to raise them, Emily," she declared, loud enough for strangers to turn. My heart pounded, but I stood firm, my twins gripping my hands. She leaned in, her voice a hiss. "Walk away, or I'll take everything." I squared my shoulders, shielding my girls, and told her to leave, my tone steady despite the storm inside. Bystanders stared, their judgment heavy, her public assault a calculated strike to shame me. As she walked away, she slipped a photo into my bag, my girls at school, snapped from afar. The message was clear. She was watching. My blood ran cold, but I hugged Lily and Chloe tighter, refusing to let her see me falter. The park, once a refuge, felt like a trap. Her threat a weight I carried back to the shelter. I wouldn't break, but her audacity fueled my resolve. She thought she could intimidate me, but I was a mother, forged in pain. And I'd face her to keep my daughters safe, no matter the cost. That night, I stared at Stephen Grant's number, my thumb hovering. David's betrayal had taught me to trust no one. But I couldn't wait for Jessica to strike again. I'd survived worse, 7 years raising my girls alone, building a career from nothing. I called Stephen, demanding every scrap of David's evidence. He promised a hard drive, a lifeline to Jessica's secrets. I felt a flicker of hope, a weapon forming. In the shelter, I taught Lily and Chloe to spot safe places, doorways, exits, turning fear into strategy. It armed us all. Jessica thought she'd break me, but she didn't know the fire in me burned fiercer than the one that took our home. I wasn't just surviving. I was fighting back, my will honed by every sleepless night, every tear my girls shed. I whispered to them as they slept, promising a future free of her shadow. My scar ached, but it was a reminder. I'd endured David's absence, and I'd endure this. I was Emily Carter, mother, architect, warrior, and I'd protect my daughters with every breath, ready to face whatever Jessica threw next. David's hidden truth was my shield now, and I was ready to wield it, tearing through Jessica's lies to reclaim her safety. In a shadowed Chicago cafe, Stephen Grant slid a hard drive across the table, his eyes heavy with warning. David knew about Jessica, he said. This is everything. That night, in the shelter's quiet, I plugged it into my laptop, my heart pounding like a hammer. Folders spilled open, documents, videos, emails, David's meticulous unraveling of Jessica Reed's lies. She was a chameleon. Her alias is a web of deceit across cities, conning men with charm and forged papers. A fake birth certificate claimed her son, Leo, was David's. A lie that twisted my gut. He'd never spoken of another child. Videos showed Jessica, her smile sharp as glass, laughing about David's accident, calling it convenient. My blood boiled. She'd planned his death. I dug into public records, my architect's precision mapping her trail, lawsuits, vanished funds, lives ruined. David's notes revealed her scheme to seize his estate, painting me as the villain. I stayed up, eyes burning, piecing together her fraud. A file detailed her targeting broken families, exploiting their pain. Another showed her meeting a man in a dark alley, buying burner phones. My fear hardened into resolve. This wasn't just about my girls. It was about stopping a predator who thrived on betrayal. I cross-checked her aliases, finding dropped charges, buried evidence. Each discovery was a brick in the wall I'd build against her. I called Stephen, demanding action. The truth was a weapon, and I'd wield it to protect Lily and Chloe, to end Jessica's reign. My hands steadied. I was no longer the hunted, I was the hunter, ready to tear her world apart. A text buzzed my phone at midnight. Stop digging, Emily, or you'll burn again. No cinder, but Jessica's venom seeped through. My skin prickled. She was watching. The next day, a coworker mentioned a woman asking about me at work, her description matching Jessica's icy features. My work server logged an unauthorized access attempt, her doing. Stephen called with a bombshell. David's private investigator had photos of Jessica in a Chicago alley, buying untraceable phones. The report, on the drive, suggested she'd planned the fire. My heart raced. She was a murderer. I visited the ruins of my home, the blackened beams a punch to my soul. A neighbor recalled a car idling nearby that night, its plates partially caught on camera. I scribbled the numbers. My hands firm despite the dread. Jessica's custody petition was gaining ground. Her lies were bold, claiming I was unfit. Another note arrived at the shelter. You can't win. My resolve wavered. But I found a lead online, a woman Jessica had scammed, her story mirroring David's files. I reached out, her response swift. She'd testify. Stephen warned Jessica was desperate, likely to escalate. I felt her shadow closing in, her threats no longer empty. The car's plates haunted me. I shared them with the police, my voice steady. Each clue was a step toward her downfall, but danger loomed. I moved us to a new shelter, my girl's safety my only thought. Jessica wasn't just a liar, she was a killer, and I was racing against her next move. My fight fueled by a mother's love and a thirst for justice. In the shelter's dim light, I watched Lily and Chloe sleep, their faces soft, trusting. Jessica wanted war. I give her one. I called Stephen, my voice like steel, file a countersuit. Use David's evidence. She won't take my girls. He agreed, cautioning me about her ruthlessness. I didn't flinch. 7 years of raising my twins alone, building a career from dust, I was unbreakable. I hired a security expert, a woman who admired my designs, to lock down my phone, my accounts, my life. We moved to a hidden shelter, out of Jessica's reach. I met a journalist friend, planting seeds about Jessica's past without spilling too much. My girls deserved a mother who fought, not one who shrank. I wrote a letter to the court, detailing Jessica's threats, attaching David's files, emails, videos, proof of her fraud. It was my declaration of battle. Each word a brick in the fortress I'd build around my family. I wasn't just defending. I was dismantling her empire of lies, like tearing down a flawed structure. Jessica thought she'd crush me, but she didn't know the fire in me. I taught my girls to draw their dream home, promising we'd build it. My commitment was ironclad, not just to win, but to end her deception for my girls. For David's memory, for every soul she'd broken. I was Emily Carter, mother, architect, warrior, ready to face her in the light, my heart a furnace of resolve. The battle was set. David's truth my sword, and I was ready to strike at the heart of Jessica's deception in the open. I strode into the Chicago courthouse, David's hard drive heavy in my bag, my pulse a steady drum. Stephen had filed our countersuit, accusing Jessica Reed of fraud and harassment, a bold strike to reclaim my girls. I'd memorized her aliases, her scams, her forged papers. My architect's mind sharp as a blade. The judge, a woman with piercing eyes, listened as Stephen laid out our case. I took the stand, my voice unwavering. Recounting Jessica's threats, the note under our shelter door, the photo of Lily and Chloe, the fire that stole our home. I handed over David's files, emails exposing her cons. Videos of her cruel laughter, the investigators' photos tying her to dark deals. The courtroom held its breath, the truth a weight that silenced whispers. Jessica sat opposite. Her composure a thin veneer, her fingers twitching as Stephen played her video mocking David's accident. Her lawyer's objections faltered against our evidence. I stepped down, my heart fierce, and hugged my twins outside, shielding them from flashing cameras. A reporter asked about my fight. I let David's files speak, their weight undeniable. The press buzzed. A local headline screaming "Mother fights back." It was my first blow, not just for Lily and Chloe, but to rebuild the life Jessica tried to burn away. I wasn't just a mother defending her own. I was a warrior dismantling a predator's lies, my resolve a fire brighter than the one that scarred us. The judge issued a temporary restraining order against Jessica, banning her from contacting us, a small victory that felt like air after suffocation. Lily and Chloe's smiles returned, their drawings vibrant in our new shelter. They laughed again, sketching homes with big windows, a flicker of hope. But Jessica didn't relent. She appeared on a local talk show, her tears polished, claiming I'd framed her, that David wanted her to raise my girls. Her lies were slick, tugging at viewers' hearts, and social media split. Some called me a vengeful ex. Hashtags like hashtag Team Jessica gaining traction. The sting was sharp, public doubt threatened our case. Stephen warned her custody petition was gaining ground, her new lawyer ruthless. Another note arrived. You'll lose them, Emily. My confidence shook, the shelter's walls closing in. I dug deeper, finding a blog by a woman Jessica had conned years ago. Her story echoing David's evidence, fake identities, stolen lives. I contacted her. She agreed to testify, a spark of hope. The restraining order held, but Jessica's lies grew louder. Her show performance swaying opinions. I saved her latest voicemail, her voice venomous, promising ruin. The victory felt fragile, a single brick in a crumbling wall. I kept Lily and Chloe close, their trust my anchor, and pushed forward, knowing Jessica's desperation made her dangerous. Each step strengthened my resolve, but the obstacle loomed, her lies were a tide. And I had to swim harder to keep my girls safe. I sat with Lily and Chloe, their small hands in mine, promising a home where fear couldn't reach. Jessica's lies wouldn't steal that. I met Stephen daily, sharpening our strategy like a blueprint. He'd found a witness, a former partner of Jessica's, ready to expose her fraud. I pored over David's files again, finding a note. Protect them, Emily. I'm sorry. It cracked my heart, but forged my will. David's regret wasn't my weight. My girls were my purpose. I enrolled them in art classes. Their laughter a slice of light in our shadowed life. I leaked Jessica's aliases to a journalist friend, stirring public doubt without breaking our case. My commitment wasn't just to win. It was to end Jessica's reign, for every woman she'd shattered, for the family David failed, for the future my twins deserved. I wrote to the court again, attaching new evidence, my words of vow. Jessica thought she'd break me, but I was Emily Carter, mother, architect, unyielding. I taught my girls to draw brave homes, their pencils dancing with hope. Each stroke was my pledge. I'd see this through, no matter the cost, building a fortress around us with truth as my foundation, ready to face her in the battle ahead. The truth was breaking through. But Jessica's lies were a storm, and the real war was about to erupt in the open. The Chicago courthouse was a crucible, its air thick with anticipation. Reporters packed the benches, their pins scratching like vultures circling. Jessica's custody hearing was today, and I felt the city's pulse hammering. Stephen Grant, my lawyer, stood tall, presenting David's hard drive, our weapon. I took the stand, my voice ablaze, recounting Jessica's threats, the note under our shelter door, the photo of Lily and Chloe at school, the fire that devoured our home. I handed over David's evidence, emails detailing her scams, videos of her cold laughter, the investigators' photos of her in shadowed alleys. The judge, her eyes like steel, leaned forward as Stephen played a clip, Jessica, smirking, calling David's accident convenient. The room gasped, a collective intake of shock. Jessica sat across, her face a polished mask. But her hands betrayed her, trembling. Her lawyer's objections were weak, drowned by the truth's weight. I spoke of the fire, my girl's screams, the scar on my wrist, a map of my pain. The courtroom was silent, the air heavy with exposure. Stephen submitted the forged birth certificate, claiming her son Leo was David's, a lie now bare. Outside, cameras flashed as I shielded Lily and Chloe, their small hands in mine. A reporter asked if I'd forgive David. I sidestepped, my focus on justice. The press swarmed, headlines brewing. Mother's fight exposes fraud. Social media ignited, #JusticeForEmily trending. The hearing was a reckoning. Jessica's lies laid bare under Chicago's unforgiving light. My heart pounded. Not with fear, but with the fire of a mother protecting her own. This wasn't just my fight. It was a public unraveling, a moment where truth clawed free, and I stood at its center, unyielding, ready to end her reign. Stephen called Maria, a surprise witness, her presence a thunderclap. She'd been Jessica's victim a decade ago, her savings stolen by a woman posing as a grieving widow. Maria's voice was steady, her story chilling, mirroring David's files, forged papers, fake identities, lives shattered. She held up documents Jessica used, identical to the birth certificate claiming Leo was David's. The courtroom buzzed, reporters scribbling furiously. Stephen then played security footage from David's accident, a car, Jessica's, swerving into him on a rain-slicked road. The judge's gavel silenced gasps. I felt sick, realizing she'd tried to kill him. My girls, safe in the shelter, were my anchor. I clutched their photo, its edges worn. Jessica's lawyer stammered, his defense crumbling. Stephen submitted more, emails from Jessica's aliases, bank records of her scams. The investigators' report tying her to burner phones. The truth was a flood, unstoppable. Social media erupted, #JusticeForEmily trending globally, strangers sharing Maria's story. Then others, victims of Jessica's cons. The courtroom felt electric, the air crackling with her exposure. I watched Jessica, her eyes darting, her charm useless. The judge ordered silence, her face grim, as Stephen revealed a final blow, a witness who saw Jessica near my home the night of the fire. My heart raced. She wasn't just a liar. She was a predator, her claws deep in my family. The press outside roared, cameras flashing as I left, shielding my girls. Online, the tide turned. People called me a hero, a mother who fought back. Jessica's lies were naked now, her empire of deceit collapsing. I felt the scales tip, the truth no longer mine alone but a public cry, a beacon for every soul she'd broken. I stood taller, ready for the final strike. Jessica took the stand, her voice quivering, claiming she loved David, that I'd twisted her story. But Stephen was relentless, his cross-examination a scalpel. He exposed her contradictions, aliases, forged documents, a history of fraud. The judge's questions cut deeper, her patience thin as Jessica's tears faltered. Stephen presented the car's black box data, confirming her role in David's crash. The courtroom stirred, reporters whispering, phones buzzing with live updates. Jessica's lawyer fumbled, his motions weak against our evidence. Online, the talk show that aired her lies retracted, citing new evidence. Public sentiment shifted, #Team Jessica faded, replaced by stories of her victims, shared by Maria, then others. The judge paused the hearing, ordering an investigation into David's accident and the fire. Jessica's composure shattered, her eyes wild, a cornered animal. I watched, my heart steady, as her myth unraveled. The city that once judged me now saw her truth, a grifter, not a savior. Social media amplified the shift, strangers posting, "Emily fought for us all." The courtroom's air was thick, charged with her downfall. Stephen submitted a final piece, a victim's testimony, emailed that morning, detailing Jessica's scams in another state. The judge's nod was grim. The gavel a hammer on Jessica's lies. Outside, protests formed, demanding justice. I held Lily and Chloe close, their warmth my shield. The press called me resilient. I was just a mother who refused to break. Jessica's empire was crumbling, her control gone. I felt a quiet triumph, not in her pain, but in the truth's victory. The fight wasn't over. But the tide had turned, and I was ready to face what came next, my girl's future, my guiding star. Jessica's lies lay shattered, but the battle had scarred me. And I had to confront the doubts still smoldering within. In the shelter's dim silence, I lay awake, doubt creeping like smoke. Had I pushed too far? The courtroom had bared Jessica's lies. But it exposed my wounds too, David's betrayal, my scarred wrist, the fire scars on my girls. I questioned if I'd failed Lily and Chloe, dragging them through this chaos. Chloe's nightmares lingered. Her cries piercing, Lily flinched at shadows. Was I enough? The fire, Jessica's threats, the public's gaze, had I invited this storm by not seeing her sooner? David's note, "I'm sorry," burned in my mind. Had I missed his pain, too, all those years ago? Online, some praised my fight, but others called me vengeful, a mother too angry to be stable. Their words echoed my fear. Maybe I wasn't enough. I traced my scar, its jagged line a mirror to my doubts. The world saw a fighter, but I felt fragile, haunted by the thought that I couldn't shield my twins from Jessica's venom or the city's judgment. Each doubt was a weight, pressing me to question every choice. Had I fought for justice or pride? The shelter's walls closed in, my girls' trust the only light, but I wondered if I could keep them safe in a world so sharp, so ready to cut us down again. I took Lily and Chloe to a quiet park, seeking air to clear our fears. But as they played, Jessica's shadow loomed in every rustling leaf, her threats echoing. "You'll lose them." My deepest terror wasn't the courtroom, it was failing my girls. I'd built our life alone, but what if I couldn't protect them? Sitting by a gnarled oak, I clutched their photo, its edges soft from my grip, and let the fear surge. David's abandonment, the fire's roar, Jessica's lies, they'd stripped me bare, leaving a raw ache. What if I lost them? The thought choked me. But as I watched Lily chase Chloe, their laughter defiant, I saw my strength reflected. I wasn't flawless, but I'd never stopped fighting. That fear of failing them was a truth I had to face, not flee. It was the scar I carried, not the sum of me. My girls ran to me, their hands warm, their trust unshaken. I breathed deep, the park's quiet grounding me. Jessica's threats were real, but so was my love, a force fiercer than her malice. I wouldn't let fear define us. I was their mother, forged in pain, and that was enough to stand and fight, to keep them safe no matter the storm. In the shelter's faint light, I faced the mirror, my scar stark against my skin. I wasn't the woman David abandoned. I was tempered, unbreakable. I wrote a letter to my girls, for their future selves, vowing to always fight for them, a promise to myself, too. I called Stephen, my voice firm, planning our next moves, more witnesses, more evidence. Jessica's lies couldn't touch the truth I'd built. I taught Lily and Chloe to draw their brave place, a house no fire could ruin, their pencils dancing with hope. Their smiles were my shield, their trust my fire. David's betrayal, Jessica's threats, they were shadows, not my story. I was Emily Carter, mother, architect, warrior. The courtroom loomed, but I was ready, not for revenge, but for the life we deserved. I contacted the journalist again, feeding her Jessica's aliases, sowing seeds of doubt. My fight wasn't just for us. It was for every woman Jessica had broken. I stood taller, my scar a badge of battles won, not lost. The shelter's walls no longer confined me. They held my resolve. I'd face Jessica's final lies, not as a victim, but as a mother who'd never yield, my heart a furnace for the future I'd build with my girls. My strength was forged, but Jessica's desperation was a spark. And the truth about the fire was about to ignite a new battle. Chicago's pulse quickened as our story broke wide, a city split by my fight. Reporters swarmed the courthouse steps, their headlines a tug-of-war. Heroic mother battles, fraud versus custody war, tears family apart. Social media was a tempest. Some hailed me as a beacon. Others branded me a scorned woman out for blood. A local blog dug into my past, twisting my single motherhood into negligence, each word a splinter in my resolve. At school, Lily and Chloe felt the sting. Parents whispered, their children shying away from my twins. My boss called, his voice tight, suggesting a leave. Clients saw my chaos as a liability. The city I'd shaped with my designs now judged me, its skyscrapers casting long shadows over my name. Yet, support surged too. Strangers sent letters, their words warm, praising my courage. A women's shelter offered us a safer haven, their kindness a lifeline in the storm. Online, #JusticeForEmily trended, voices amplifying our truth. I shielded my girls from the noise. But Lily asked why people were mean. I had no answer, only promises of a better tomorrow. Stephen navigated the press, keeping our focus on the trial. The chaos was a weight, suffocating. But it showed me who stood with us, strangers, survivors, a community rising. I leaned on their strength, my girls trust my anchor, refusing to let Chicago's divided verdict break us. This wasn't just my fight. It was a mirror for every mother battling judgment, and I'd stand firm, my heart a forge for the future we deserved. Jessica's facade cracked wide open. After the hearing, she left a voicemail, her voice jagged. "You'll pay for this, Emily." I saved it for the police, my hands steady. Stephen uncovered her desperation. She tried bribing a witness, a former associate. But he refused, loyal to David's memory. Her lawyer's motions grew frantic, filing delays that the judge swatted down. A leaked video hit the internet. Jessica screaming at her attorney in a parking lot, her polished charm gone, her eyes wild. The public turned harder against her. The talk show that aired her lies distanced itself, citing misinformation. Online, her supporters dwindled. #Team Jessica, hashtags fading. Police matched her car's plates to the one near my home the night of the fire, the evidence tightening like a noose. Jessica was unraveling, her control slipping through her fingers. I felt a grim satisfaction, but stayed vigilant. She was a wounded predator, dangerous when cornered. Stephen warned she might lash out, and I kept Lily and Chloe close, my eyes scanning every face in every crowd. The shelter felt less like a refuge, more like a fortress under siege. Jessica's chaos was her undoing, but I knew she'd strike again. Her voicemail played in my mind, a reminder of her malice, but it fueled me. I wasn't just surviving her storm. I was dismantling her empire, piece by piece, with the truth David left behind. The tide was turning, and I was ready to face her final, desperate move. The police called me to the station, their faces grim. Security footage confirmed Jessica's car at David's accident. Then near my home before the fire. She tried to kill him, then us. The realization was a cold blade in my chest. This wasn't just fraud. It was murder attempted twice. The case shifted from custody to criminal, and I became a key witness, my life thrust into a new, perilous spotlight. We moved to a safe house, its bare walls softened by Lily and Chloe's drawings. Taped up like fragile hopes. My career stalled. I couldn't design, my focus stolen by the trial shadow. Stephen said Jessica's arrest was near, but I felt exposed, a target in hiding. Lily asked if we'd ever feel safe again, her voice small, and I lied, saying yes, my heart breaking. The truth was a void I didn't know. This new reality, fleeing, waiting, wasn't the life I'd planned. But it sharpened my purpose. I'd see Jessica face justice, not just for us, but for David, for Leo, for every life she'd shattered. I clutched David's note, his apology a faint echo, and vowed to protect my girls. The safe house was temporary, but my resolve was permanent. I wasn't just a mother now, I was a warrior in a war I didn't choose. Fighting for a future where my twins could sleep without fear, their dreams unburned by Jessica's malice. Jessica's crimes were laid bare, but unexpected allies were rising, ready to shift the battle's tide in our favor. A stranger's email changed everything. Clara, a private investigator, contacted me through Stephen, her name tied to Jessica's past. She'd seen our story on the news, recognizing Jessica as the con artist who'd ruined her a decade ago. Clara offered her files, bank records, fake IDs, a witness who saw Jessica near David's crash. Her voice was steady, her resolve like mine, forged in betrayal. Then came Tom, David's old friend, who'd helped compile the hard drive. He met me at the safe house, his eyes heavy with guilt, apologizing for David's silence. He revealed David's regret for leaving me, his notes a plea to protect us. Tom brought photos of Leo, David's son, confirming he wasn't Jessica's. Clara's files detailed Jessica's scams, matching David's evidence, aliases, forged papers, lives broken. She tracked Jessica since her own loss, her data a weapon. Tom's stories humanized David, softening my anger. These allies, one a stranger, one a ghost from my past, were a lifeline. Clara promised to testify, her evidence a hammer to Jessica's lies. Tom offered contacts, more victims willing to speak. Their arrival was a spark, igniting hope in the safe house's dim light. I wasn't alone anymore. Their strength joined mine. A growing tide against Jessica's deceit. My girl's future, once shadowed, now gleamed with possibility, bolstered by allies who shared my fight, ready to face her in court. I invited Clara to meet Lily and Chloe, wanting them to see resilience beyond mine. She shared her story, how Jessica stole her savings, her trust, her voice calm but fierce. Lily drew her a picture. A house under a bright sun, and Clara's eyes softened, her smile warm. She called it her Hope House, a nod to her own recovery. Tom joined us for coffee, sharing memories of David's better days. Painting a man flawed but remorseful. We bonded over our shared enemy, our trust a fragile bridge built on truth. Clara taught the girls to plant seeds, a lesson in growth. And they called her Auntie, their laughter a balm. I opened up about my scar, my fears, and Clara listened, her own wounds mirror. Tom offered photos of David with Leo, stirring my resolve to protect them both. Stephen coordinated our efforts, linking Clara's files to police reports. Our bond wasn't just tactical, it was healing, a reminder I wasn't alone. We planned our testimony, each word a brick in our case. The girls made bracelets for Clara, their small hands weaving trust. This alliance was a shield, stronger than Jessica's lies. I felt lighter. My heart no longer a solitary fortress, but part of a circle, united against a common foe, ready to fight for my girls and the truth David left behind. Our fight rippled outward, a wave gathering force. Maria's testimony sparked an online group, victims of Jessica's scams sharing their pain. They sent letters to the court, their voices amplifying our truth. A local church donated clothes for Lily and Chloe, their kindness a warm embrace. Reporters, now allies, ran exposés on Jessica's past, crediting a mother's stand. I spoke at a shelter, my story raw, and the room, filled with survivors, erupted in support, their strength fueling mine. Online, #JusticeForEmily trended, strangers posting, "You're our hero." Lily and Chloe crafted bracelets for Tom, their smiles lighting the safe house. A community rose, donations, witnesses, prayers, turning our pain into power. Clara brought more victims forward, their stories a chorus against Jessica. The shelter hosted a vigil, candles flickering for every life she'd touched. I felt it then, the weight of a collective, not just mine, but theirs. Our fight wasn't solitary, it was a movement, a tide of truth Jessica couldn't stem. The girls' drawings covered the safe house walls, symbols of hope. This community wasn't just support, it was a force, unyielding, proving we were stronger together. Jessica's lies crumbled under this unity, and I stood ready, bolstered by a world that believed in us, to face her final reckoning. Our alliance was a fortress, but justice demanded more, and the world's eyes were on us as we pushed for truth. The media storm erupted, transforming our fight into a global cry. National outlets seized our story, headlines blazing. Chicago Mom unmasks con artist. A network aired a segment, juxtaposing Jessica's forged documents with Lily and Chloe's shelter drawings, a stark contrast of deceit and hope. Reporters interviewed Clara, her calm voice detailing Jessica's scams, her words a spark igniting public outrage. Social media surged, #JusticeForEmily trended worldwide, strangers sharing their own tales of betrayal, their voices a chorus. A podcast dissected our case, calling me a symbol of resilience. Its episode downloaded millions of times. The attention was a tidal wave, overwhelming yet powerful, pressuring the court to act. Protests formed outside the courthouse, signs reading, "Emily, you are enough," waving in Chicago's wind. I shielded my twins from the cameras, their small hands trusting mine. Online, comments flooded. "You're our hero." The world's gaze was unrelenting, turning our pain into a movement. I felt exposed, yet emboldened. Our story wasn't just ours anymore. Reporters camped outside our safe house, their lenses hungry, but I focused on Lily and Chloe, their drawings my anchor. The media's roar amplified our truth, making Jessica's lies a public spectacle. Chicago, once my judge, now rallied behind us, its heartbeat aligned with ours. This wasn't just a trial. It was a reckoning, a story of a mother's fight that echoed across screens, inspiring millions to stand against deceit. The court answered the public's clamor. Jessica was arrested, charged with fraud, attempted murder, and arson, a swift response fueled by our evidence and the world's outcry. The judge, citing public interest, expedited her criminal trial, her gavel a thunderclap. Stephen called it a rare victory. David's files, Clara's records, and community support formed an ironclad case. The restraining order became permanent, Jessica's custody claim dismissed with prejudice. Online, celebrations erupted, videos of my testimony shared thousands of times. Police confirmed the fire and David's accident were linked to Jessica, their statement trending across platforms. Her lawyer abandoned her, his reputation tarnished by her lies. The courtroom's air had shifted. Justice wasn't just a hope, it was real. I felt relief, but not peace. Lily and Chloe still woke crying, their fears lingering. The world's support was a lifeline, but our scars remained. Social media hailed me as a fighter, posts reading, "Emily showed us truth wins." The system, once slow, moved under pressure, proving our collective voice had power. I held my girls close, their warmth grounding me. Jessica's empire of deceit was crumbling, her shadow fading. Yet, the fight had changed me, and I knew healing was the next battle. The court's response was our victory, a testament to a mother's resolve, amplified by a community that refused to let lies prevail. I chose not to hate Jessica. Hatred would have consumed me, leaving nothing for my girls. In the safe house, I wrote her a letter, never sent, forgiving her to free myself. It wasn't for her, it was for the life I wanted, unburdened by her poison. I taught Lily and Chloe kindness, showing them how to rise above pain. We volunteered at the shelter, serving meals to those who'd helped us, their gratitude a mirror to our strength. Online, I posted about resilience, not revenge, urging others to find light in darkness. Messages poured in. "You showed me how to heal." Survivors thanked me, their words a balm. I didn't want Jessica's ruin. I wanted my family's peace. The community's support, letters, donations, shared stories reminded me healing was collective. I focused on my twins, their laughter brighter each day. We painted together, their colors vivid, a promise of joy. Social media amplified my choice. Post praising, "Emily's forgiveness is strength." I welcomed Leo, David's son, into our lives, his mother Sarah grateful for our support. Forgiveness wasn't weakness, it was my rebellion against Jessica's legacy of pain. I stood taller, my scar a badge of survival, not shame. The world saw a mother who chose love over vengeance, a beacon for those rebuilding from ashes. My girls deserved a future free of hate, and I'd build it, brick by brick, with a community that believed in us. Justice prevailed. But Jessica's final gambit loomed, testing the strength I'd forged in this relentless fight. Jessica's arrest didn't silence her venom. From jail, she sent a message through an accomplice. "Slipped into our safe house. You'll never be free, Emily." My heart lurched, fear clawing anew. She'd hired someone to stalk us. A dark sedan trailed me to Lily and Chloe's school, its driver a faceless shadow. Police added patrols, but dread settled like frost. Lily asked why we kept hiding, her voice trembling, and I hugged her, masking my panic. Stephen uncovered Jessica's scheme. She'd paid an associate to plant fake evidence, framing me for the fire. The accusation hit the news, stirring doubt. Some online voices wavered, questioning my truth. The trial loomed days away, and Jessica's desperation turned her into a specter, her reach defying bars. I clutched David's note, his apology a faint anchor, my scar throbbing with old wounds. Social media buzzed with her lies. Hashtags like #Emily framed gaining ground. I felt the ground shift, my girl's safety hanging by a thread. The safe house, once a refuge, felt like a cage, each creak a warning. Jessica had lost, but she'd drag us into her abyss. I scanned every stranger, my resolve tested by her relentless malice. This wasn't over. Her final gambit was a blade aimed at my family, and I had to shield Lily and Chloe from a danger that refused to die. My strength stretched thin but unbroken. I faced Jessica in court, her eyes glinting with defiance despite her chains. She took the stand, accusing me of setting the fire, claiming I'd framed her to steal David's estate. Her voice was smooth, a predator's charm. But Stephen was a storm. He presented the sedan's black box data, proving Jessica's role in David's crash. Clara testified, her files linking Jessica to the arson, her calm voice a hammer. The associate Jessica hired betrayed her, admitting she'd paid him to forge evidence against me. The courtroom held its breath, the truth a wildfire. I watched Jessica falter, her lies exposed, her composure crumbling. Stephen's final blow, a video of Jessica buying accelerants days before the fire. I spoke last, my voice steady. I fought for my girls, not her lies. The judge's gaze was iron, the gavel's echo final. Jessica's eyes met mine, her defeat raw, a predator caged. Outside, I held Lily and Chloe, their warmth my shield against the cameras. The press roared, but I felt calm. Her last play had failed. Social media shifted, #JusticeForEmily drowning out her falsehoods. The trial's end was near, and I stood tall. A mother who'd faced the abyss and won. Jessica's empire was dust, her threats silenced, but the scars she left lingered, a reminder of the fight I'd endured to keep my family whole. The judge sentenced Jessica 20 years for attempted murder, arson, and fraud. No cameras caught my reaction. I needed no applause. I took Lily and Chloe to a park. Their laughter a melody free of fear. The media storm faded, our victory quiet, personal. I framed their latest drawing, a house with 3 figures, labeled, us, its lines a promise of peace. Stephen confirmed the estate was ours, but I focused on Leo, David's son. I found his mother, Sarah, vowing to support them, her gratitude a bridge to healing. The scars remained my wrist. The girls' nightmares, David's absence, but we triumphed by standing firm. Jessica was gone, her venom drained. Online, strangers called me a hero, but I was just a mother who refused to break. I felt peace, not in her fall, but in our survival, stronger together. Lily and Chloe ran through the grass, their joy a light no fire could dim. The safe house was behind us, the trial a memory. I wasn't defined by Jessica's malice, but by the love I'd fought for. Our quiet win was enough, a foundation for the future. I'd build that house they drew, not just for us, but for Leo, for Sarah. For every heart Jessica wounded, my strength a beacon for the life we'd reclaim. The war was won, but healing beckoned, and an unexpected guide would show us the path to rebuild. Sarah, Leo's mother, stepped into our lives like a quiet dawn. She found me through Stephen, her eyes weary but warm, carrying a letter David wrote for Leo, echoing his regret for me. Sarah had fled Jessica's lies years ago, raising Leo alone, her strength a mirror to mine. She offered wisdom, not pity, sharing how she rebuilt after betrayal. At a cafe, she spoke of healing, small steps, like planting gardens with Leo to teach him hope. Her words were a lifeline, cutting through my lingering fears. Lily and Chloe met Leo, their laughter blending as they drew together, his shy smile a bridge between our worlds. Sarah gave me a journal, urging me to write my pain, to let it go. Her presence wasn't just guidance. It was a hand pulling me from the ashes. She'd faced Jessica's venom and survived, her scars proof of resilience. I saw my girls and Leo, their innocence worth every fight. Sarah's stories of rebuilding new homes, new trust, lit a path I hadn't seen. She wasn't just David's ex, she was a survivor, her lessons a map for our future. I felt lighter, her strength bolstering mine, as we planned a picnic for our kids, a moment of normalcy in a life once ruled by fear. Sarah was my guide, her voice a beacon, showing me how to mend what Jessica broke. For my girls and myself, Sarah taught me to rebuild with intention, not haste. Over tea, she shared her journey, how she turned pain into purpose, starting a community group for single mothers. Her lesson was clear. Healing wasn't erasing scars, but building around them. She gave me a seed packet, saying, "Plant these with your girls. Growth takes time." We did. Lily and Chloe giggling as dirt smudged their hands, their joy a seed of hope. Sarah's words echoed, "Let go of what you can't control." I wrote in her journal, spilling fears, Jessica's shadow, David's absence, each word a release. She showed me how to talk to my twins about loss, helping them name their nightmares, turning fear into stories they could master. Leo joined us, his drawings of stars a quiet wisdom, teaching my girls to dream beyond pain. Sarah's group welcomed us, their stories of survival a tapestry of strength. I learned to breathe, to see my scar as a mark of triumph, not shame. Her lessons weren't grand gestures, but daily acts, cooking with my girls, laughing, living. I felt the weight lift. My heart no longer a battlefield, but a garden. Sarah's guidance was a gift, her resilience a blueprint for ours. We weren't just surviving, we were growing, rooted in love. Ready to face the future with a strength I'd learned from her quiet, unshakable resolve. I took Sarah's lessons and wove them into our lives. We planted a garden behind our new apartment. Lily and Chloe tending seedlings, their care a mirror of our healing. I journaled nightly, my fears fading as I wrote of hope, our future, not our past. I spoke to my girls about David, sharing his love, not his flaws, their smiles easing my guilt. We joined Sarah's community group, helping other mothers, their gratitude a warmth that steadied me. I designed a small park for the shelter, my architects I crafting a space for joy, not just survival. Leo became family, his laughter blending with my twins, their bond a new root in our lives. I let go of Jessica's shadow, her prison walls her own making. Social media noticed our garden, post praising Emily's rebuilding life. I didn't need their cheers, my girls' happiness was enough. Sarah's wisdom, build slowly, love fiercely, guided every step. I framed their drawings, a gallery of dreams, each one a promise kept. The nightmares lessened, replaced by mornings of light. I stood in our garden, dirt under my nails, feeling whole. The fire, the trial, David's loss, they'd shaped me, but Sarah's lessons freed me. I was Emily Carter, mother, builder, survivor. Crafting a life where love outshone pain, ready for whatever lay ahead with my girls by my side. Our garden grew, but a final truth about David's choices would test my newfound peace. Demanding one last reckoning, Stephen handed me a sealed envelope, David's final letter, uncovered in his estate's vault. My hands trembled as I opened it, the safe house's silence heavy. David confessed his shame, Jessica's affair, her manipulation, his cowardice in leaving me. He'd planned to return, to fight for us, but her schemes trapped him. He knew about Leo, his son with Sarah, and begged me to protect him. The letter revealed Jessica's plan to kill him, his accident no chance but her design. My scar burned, old pain flaring, but this truth wasn't a wound, it was clarity. I wept, not for David, but for the years I'd carried his silence. Lily and Chloe slept nearby, their breathing soft, unaware of the weight I held. David's words were a mirror, showing my strength through his failures. I called Sarah, sharing his plea for Leo, her voice breaking with gratitude. The letter wasn't just closure. It was a charge to honor his regret by safeguarding our family. Jessica's trial had ended, but this truth reframed my fight, not just against her, but for the legacy David left. I felt unburdened. The fog lifting. The world beyond the safe house buzzed with our story, but this moment was mine, a reckoning with a past I'd outgrown. I tucked the letter away, my resolve a quiet flame. Ready to build a future where my girls and Leo could thrive, free from the shadows David's choices cast. I sat with Sarah under the safe house's dim lamp, David's letter between us. Accepting his truth meant releasing my anger, a weight I'd carried too long. I spoke of my scar, how his leaving broke me, but also built me. Mother, fighter, survivor. Sarah shared her own pain. Her escape from Jessica's lies, her love for Leo. We weren't rivals, we were sisters in resilience. I told Lily and Chloe about their father, not his flaws, but his regret. Their eyes wide but unafraid. They hugged me, their trust a balm, and drew Leo into their circle, calling him brother. I burned with pride, their hearts bigger than my pain. Sarah's wisdom, choose healing, not hate, guided me. I wrote David's truth in my journal, not as betrayal, but as a chapter closed. The community rallied, their support a chorus. They sent seeds for our garden, symbols of growth. I accepted that David's choices weren't mine to bear, my strength was. Social media lauded our story, but I needed no spotlight. The truth wasn't a burden now, it was a foundation. I stood in our garden, dirt under my nails, feeling whole. Jessica's shadow was gone, her prison her own. I embraced this truth, not as a victim, but as Emily Carter, a mother who'd faced the past and chosen a future where love, not loss, defined us. Our new apartment glowed with Lily and Chloe's drawings, a canvas of hope. I designed a community center, my architect's heart pouring into spaces for healing, funded by David's estate. Leo joined us often, his laughter blending with my girls. Their bond, a new family forged from truth. Sarah became my partner, her strength a steady light. We planted a tree in the park, its roots a vow to